Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play. Kyler Murray most likely isn't. It's a Week 7 Q&A. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Going to wait for some people to trickle in here. Q&A, Week 7. Things are looking up for the Cardinals roster-wise for who's going to play outside of probably Kyler Murray. I'm assuming that we're going to get the news dump tonight that he's not going to play. JG made it seem like it's more of a game-time decision, day of game decision. I just find that kind of hard to believe since Kyler didn't practice with the ones at all going up against Green Bay on Sunday. Thanks for hanging out. Again, this is a, kind of an open forum kind of thing. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. Be happy to answer them. This is very easy breezy. I don't really come to this with a game plan outside of what I talked about all week. So you're welcome to drop your questions and, I'll be able to answer what I can for you. Here's the thing. Going into Sunday, it's just got to be the same game plan as last week. Like, I know it sounds simple. I know it's a completely different opponent. I know the defense is better. I know Micah Parsons. I know Rashawn Gary. I know it. But with the season on the line, pretty much, the Cardinals fought well enough last week to win. The offense didn't look as good in the first half as it did in the second, and I think that's what kept the Cardinals from maybe putting up an extra score. Obviously, the Jacoby Brissett interception immediately following the Mac Wilson interception kind of put them behind the 8 ball where you can't give up opportunities like that inside the red zone, especially when you're undermanned and, without your starting quarterback. But I think it's got to be the same. You got to huck it. You got to huck it on Sunday. And it's going to be hopefully fun football to watch and not, ugly, gross regression to the mean football like it very well could be. I mean, listen, Jacoby Brissett's a capable dude. All right, he's been in the league a long time. But there's a reason why he's not a starting quarterback on one of the 32 teams. It's not necessarily that – he's not a bad quarterback. He's a bona fide B- average quarterback, above average quarterback. A little bit older, been around the block, obviously, but he's fully capable of leading a team. We saw it last week. The offense had more pop last week from the beginning till the end of the game, more than we've seen all year. The peaks with Kyler Murray were higher, obviously in the Carolina game for a quarter and a half, Tennessee for a quarter and a half. But by and large, the offense hasn't looked amazing outside of, a handful of memorable moments. And let's just say it could be a lot worse than Jacoby Brissett going into Sunday if it's not Kyler Murray. And again, chances are it's not going to be Kyler Murray. Again, obviously, wait and see. But chances are it's going to be Jacoby. If Jacoby plays very similar tomorrow as he did last week, win or lose, should the Cardinals make a permanent change to the quarterback position, whether that's trade or look at the draft. So I talked about this during the squad show on Wednesday or Thursday this week. It's like, okay, so if this happens, so say the Cardinals play really well on offense and say the Cardinals get a win and Kyler Murray's healthy at any point after the bye and you don't start him, then you trade him. But I don't think that's ever – that'll never be the case. If they're going to go down the ship, it's going to be going down with Kyler Murray because he's the starting quarterback and because that's what you do. So it's something that it's an inexact science when you've got a quarterback like that and he makes the money that he does and he's QB1. And listen, this isn't in a way to overstate what happened last week with Jacoby Brissett. It was one game, okay? There's not any tape on Jacoby Brissett as a quarterback in this offense, and that's probably just what it was. But it's the Arizona Cardinals. Anything can happen. If we find ourselves in a world where Jacoby Brissett throws for 300 yards and the Cardinals win by 10 points or something on Sunday, yeah, there's going to be conversations. The conversations will end in nothingness, but the conversations will be had. Like, this is where it'll really, really come into play. Because when Kyler Murray's healthy, he's going to play at least one more game. So say this happens. Say the Cardinals win on Sunday in Green Bay and the offense looks really good. Okay? And that's not a statement like, they put up 3 points last week and Jacoby Brissett threw for 100 yards and 3 interceptions. Like, oh, well, if this week it's different. No. If they replicate last week and they even look a little bit better, a little bit more in sync, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be back, and they put up a 30-burger and they win, the defense does its job and they win 30-20 or whatever it is, and then you go on your bye week, you go to Monday Night Football, Kyler Murray's healthy, Kyler Murray starts against Dallas, with the worst offense in the NFL, by and large, and the offense struggles, and you sit Kyler Murray for Jacoby Brissett, then that's where the conversation happens. Obviously, it'll be past the trade deadline, but if Kyler Murray is ever a healthy scratch or a healthy QB2 holding the clipboard, listening in the earpiece, and somebody else is starting, Kyler Murray's not the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals ever again. I find it very, very difficult to believe that would ever truly happen. I find it very, very difficult to believe that would ever truly happen. No, one, because I think Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than what we've seen at times this year. Two, I don't think Jacoby Brissett can be as consistent as he was last week. But we'll see. Again, Q&A, I see some more people coming in. Just drop your questions in the chat if you have them. I'm just here for 15 minutes or so. I just want to kind of, have an extra day where we can chat and, get some questions answered. Updates that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play, and that was expected after he had a full practice on Friday. Kyler Murray is don't be surprised if at 7 o'clock tonight, there's going to be a tweet from Adam Schefter saying Kyler Murray's out for week 7. It's exactly what they did last week. It's a Michael Bidwell special. Just expect that. Listen, he didn't practice at all with the ones. So this is a game plan, not against a division opponent, where maybe you have a similar game plan to say they're playing San Francisco again or something, or Seattle again, which obviously wouldn't happen. But this is Green Bay, who they play once a year, maybe. Obviously, it's just once, and there's no world that Kyler's going to play if he hasn't practiced with the ones for the game plan scheme for this week. So look for that. So you're just expecting Jacoby. Walter Nolan's not going to play. I think that was expected too. The window opened back to practice, 4 days ago. So ain't no way he was going to play, especially with the bye week coming up. So look for him to play in Dallas week 9. You'd hope that Walter Nolan will be ready for week 9. I just at home against the Packers in a game where, the season is in the balance. It'll be fascinating to see how the Cardinals react. There is one thing that I wanted to talk about here. I don't know if you all saw the clip. I don't know if you saw the clip from Jonathan Gannon where he was asked about, what it would take for Kyler to play this week and how he's progressing. And he said he looks good, same thing. There was a clip from him and he just looks dejected. He looks absolutely exhausted. And I equated it to yesterday's show. The president, the popular one of late was the Barack Obama picture before he took his first day in office and then his last day in office, and he looked like he aged 30 years. That's kind of what Jonathan Gannon has done. And a lot of the comments, it's yep, that's what Michael Bidwell will do for you. I'm not going to say it or leave it, and my walls are orange. My walls are red. Thank you. Easy. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. But Jonathan Gannon, that'll be fascinating what happens on Sunday. JG's had the Amari DiMercado incident, and then his press conferences lately have just been, it's like he's Edward Norton in Fight Club, just going through the motions, asleep. And I know that's not him all day, and I know those are just clips and those are just pressers, and he's got to come out because that's part of the job. But the vibe just feels a little different. The vibe feels a little bit different. And that's not fantastic. Listen, Going into Sunday, it's going to be on Jacoby Brissett. I don't think the run game, they're going to run the ball. I think Drew Petzing figured it out last week that the run game is going to be a compliment at this point. It's going to be a compliment. It's not James Conner 2 years ago. He threw the ball 44 times, man. And it wasn't like they were down 24-0 at the end of the first quarter, so you had to throw the ball. That was the game plan, to throw the ball. And it was kind of awesome. From a aesthetics and selfish standpoint for me as a football fan, getting to watch the ball get thrown down the field. And it will be this is one thing to look for, okay, going into Sunday. How many targets Marv gets. That's going to be just thing for me, how many targets Marv gets. And not just how many targets he gets, how many times he gets thrown the ball when he's covered and it's time for the wide receiver to go make a play. Because it doesn't seem like Kyler Murray does that very often to Marv. He did against Tennessee. He did against Tennessee on that early drive where Marv caught the ball between two defenders. But by and large, Kyler Murray's not forcing the ball. Jacoby Brissett will try to fit it between a window. So it'll be fascinating to see how many targets Marv gets and what types of targets those are. Are they screaming down the sidelines? Are they slants? Are they slow drag routes that we've grown accustomed to him running? Trey's going to get his targets. We'll see if Zay Jones plays. He's questionable too, but I would assume he's going to play. But this, for me, is really about Marv. This, for me, is really about Marv. And what he can do. And the uncomfortable conversation. And Easy, I see what you said. 7 plays for 20-plus yards in one game. Yeah. And Kyler's got it. Kyler doesn't have a wussy arm. Kyler can throw the ball. And that's the mystery. But the uncomfortable conversation, even though Kyler Murray is going to start in week 9 when he's healthy on Monday night against Dallas after the bye, it's going to happen. I would be shocked, obviously. Exponentially shocked. If Marv goes 7 for 150 and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, something like some ridiculous line like everybody's been waiting for with Jacoby Brissett, that is going to be the overarching theme through the bye. Why can Jacoby do it fresh off the bench? And Kyler's had 2 years and they can't figure it out to get to that next level, to get to that upper echelon level. Because look, if Jamar Chase could have 23 targets in a game, Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. could have 23 targets combined in a game. I don't care how the Steelers defense has played this year. 23 targets. The epitome of if he wanted to, he would. If he wanted to, he would. I think I saw another question up here. Hang on one sec. Give me one sec. If the Cardinals lose out, do you see? Oh, yeah, for sure. If the Cardinals lose out, do you see coaching changes? Yeah. But I talked about this earlier in the week, and I know it's kind of backwards. I don't think firing anybody in the middle of the season will help anything. And I think that's there is not a benefit to breaking things up just to do something. Because it's what you do when you're not doing your job well enough. It's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help anything. It's going to hurt things. With the Cardinals structure or the Cardinals culture that's been built over the course of, over the course of 2.5 years now, is something that you don't want to fracture towards the end. So it's not giving people a pass. It's not saying, Drew Petzing, well, don't you want to win? I mean, they've tried that, and they've lost 4 games by a combined 9 points. So keeping that culture intact throughout the rest of the season and then parting ways after, I think is a much better way to transition from this year to next year, regardless of how many games you win, as opposed to the alternative of letting somebody go. It's going to be tough if they start 2-7 or something, or 2-8. Like the schedule's not going to get easier. So if you get to 2-8, 2-9, it's like, all right, do you have to fire somebody? It's like, I guess, but it's going to be even more of a dumpster fire after. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but I do need to jet. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Listen, these are the keys for Sunday. Jacoby Brissett and Marv. That's it. Sure, you want to see the defense show up. You want to see the defense play better in the fourth quarter. The defense's job will be exponentially easier in the fourth quarter if the offense continues to hum throughout the game. Again, thanks everybody for watching. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you immediately after the game tomorrow.